Match day 32 in the books. There has been a slip, Sam, at the top of the table. Liverpool draw United on Sunday. Arsenal and City able to get all 3 points from their respective fixtures, sitting atop the Premier League. Arsenal on goal differential. City 1 point back. Liverpool still tied with Arsenal. It is getting tight. Elsewhere at the bottom of the table, Everton pick up all 3 points with a terrible, terrible game against Burnley, but they do get the win. Newcastle, Sam, late push for some European football. We'll cover all that was for match week 32 and preview match week 33 at the weekend. This is the Premiership Bruce podcast.
Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Back, Fuchs. And the ball in behind Damian Vardy! It's 11! It's heaven for Jamie Vardy!
You are an ostrich. Well, your head must be in the sand. Is your head in the sand? Are you flexible enough to get your head in the sand?
Now the fans are shouting every week, Louis van Gaal's army! Louis van Gaal's army!
Feet after a fabulous start, the game just got away from you there.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say about the game at all.
Drama from day one! This is the league we want to watch!
Oh, yeah.
Back once again. Match week
Saddle.
32. Getting down to it.
Almost done. It's almost done.
Getting down to the business end.
A little happy. This year's kind of been boring. It's really been the top
title
three.
race.
The title race has been grace.
Yes.
Has been great. The relegation one,
Pretty
I think
stinky.
it's the teams are so bad that it's just tough. It's tough to watch. Sometimes it's at least like fun, in this case. It
And
really
like,
has been. And then that mid-table, like you said, this whole season has just been absolutely dreadful.
yes. And
Just
like you mentioned on the relegation, when you're throwing in points deductions into the mix, kind of
you can't ever tell.
makes
And we
it a
had
little.
another one this week.
Yeah.
And another one this week.
Well, some
the
teams
big
are
one was-
getting point deductions in different leagues.
Yeah, Sheffield.
That's how nutty they
when
are.
they go down, the championship said, "We don't want you back. Here's -2 right on your head to start the year."
Isn't that just wonderful?
Yeah, I saw people that were like, "Well, this is going to impact their ability potentially for promotion and stuff." I'm like, I don't think they're getting anywhere near that for a good while. I don't even know how they got here.
Yes.
This is like in Italy when Benevento did the double promotion from the third division to Serie B, and then promoted to Serie A, and then they had like 13 points that year. They had like one win by Christmas. It's like, yeah. So how did Sheffield get here? I don't even know. But enough of that. Let's get to the action. Match week 32 started off with Palace and City. Sam, I hinted Palace, bogey team for Man City.
Mm-hmm.
Started early. Looked like it could be the case. Mateta, a man in form. Kit tucked in or not, it does not matter.
Yeah. Getting started quick. John Stones, poor giveaway on that one in midfield.
Yeah, Stone's not the player he's been of years past.
No.
Although people, I feel like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like people like are quick to toss him in the legends category. I think it's because Man City really don't have like one guy that stands out for this run of the last like 5-6 years, minus De Bruyne and Aguero. It's just a bunch of like really, really solid guys, but they're constantly rotating. I don't think you can put him in there. Anyways, speaking of De Bruyne, Sam,
Yes.
he pulls him back, 13th minute.
Yeah, that Crystal Palace lead didn't last very long.
Mm-hmm. Kind of weird. I mean, after the first goal and before it, they had moments too. But I thought Palace's shape was pretty decent. It doesn't mean City weren't able to kind of force some things, but I thought Palace looked okay defensively. But then again, low block against City, you just kind of have to.
Yeah,
Everyone's got to be
it's
all hands on
it's
deck.
interesting. You're seeing Crystal Palace play a 3-4-3. That's kind of how Ollie Glasner has been setting them up past couple of games. So good to see some semblance of him imparting some tactics onto Crystal Palace.
Yeah, it's just a matter of personnel with them. They don't really have all that much back there, but
Yeah,
Lermo is kind of in the back three in this one, which I mean you wouldn't really think about that, but Mitchell and Munoz as the wide guys of the back five/back three, and then Will Hughes and Wharton having to do most of the work in
yep,
that center of the park.
yeah. Couple chances. There was a chance for Holland through on goal. Henderson making the stop on that one, and then Hanks guy Jordan Ayew hitting the crossbar.
Yeah, how about that?
Could have made things interesting.
Yeah, City had plenty of chances this one. I know Alvarez had one or two as well, where it just wasn't taken. But Dean Henderson was a busy man at moments in this game. Um, I mean, did anyone on City not really play well this game, other than maybe like Grealish? Oscar Bob wasn't the best, I guess, but I
Yeah.
don't know. No one really stood out as like not playing that well for City in this one.
Mm-hmm. Goes in halftime, 1-1. Second half, City, early goal. Hanks guy, Rico Lewis. A lot of
Oh,
guys in this
everyone
game.
everyone was talking about him.
Lord Zoomer,
He had to tell the crowd to keep his name out of his mouth or something like that. Whatever they say these days.
the king of
That was
cringe, Rico
that was
Lewis.
that was insanity. Like what? Does he think people are talking trash about him? Like what was that?
No one's talking about you, Rico Lewis. Literally no
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That was the most like forced thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Very cringe. Very cringe, as the kids say.
Yes, absolutely. Um, After that, I mean, Man City had a pair of nice couple goals. Um, Mainly that De Bruyne one, the fourth goal that they get, Sam. That one, that
Yeah.
passing sequence was like prime City. That's when City's enjoyable to watch, but up until then, where they just grind you down,
Mhm.
not as enjoyable to watch.
And you mentioned Grealish, but he was involved in both these goals. First one getting
Yeah,
the pass to assist, and then the second one getting the direct assist. Oh, they didn't credit him. I don't know.
No, they gave it to Rodri, right, on the second one because he had the
Oh
little
yeah, yeah.
layoff touch for De
So he
Bruyne
got
as he
two
smashed it.
two hockey assists for
There
Grealish.
you go.
Yes.
If only. If only they counted such things. He's really ramping up his move to United is what he's doing.
Yes.
Getting it
Exactly.
warmed up. Uh
Exactly.
I mean Palace at the end they had a couple chances. I mean, they caught Man City out. I mean really forced that one where Edouard could have scored, but it wasn't all that great
Hmm.
to be honest. And Ortega kind of is pretty decent in terms of just like getting saves. As far as like with his feet and whatnot and distribution and organizing, I guess I haven't paid enough attention, and City haven't really been in those spots where you have to worry about that. But
Ortega
I
had
mean,
that one move earlier in the game where he did the
yeah, a
fancy
little step
footwork.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But other than that, I mean, you can't really tell. But makes a big save on Edward, and then Edward does get a goal. Sam's guy, Jeffrey Schlupp, supplying it. It was like that one was a little harder, but I don't know. There's something about the being clear on net, and then you're like, yeah, you just don't have faith in him. Edward, that is.
Yeah, I don't think I really have faith in anyone scoring on Crystal Palace.
Whoa, Mateta, come on, he's on fire now.
Well, I wouldn't be betting my life savings on him. That's for
No, I
sure.
wouldn't either. Finishes 4-2, good win for City. Kind of surprised Palace got 2 goals in this one. I'll say that, even though I don't know, it didn't really matter that City took their foot off the gas, but at the same time, it's like that's not what you'd normally see from
Hey,
them.
goal differential, man. Could make a difference.
Oh, it could. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Anything else that really sticks out in your mind? I've
No.
just decided that I can't judge Ole Glasner until the summer and see what they do for recruiting because I
Yeah,
don't really
their
know.
squad sucks.
It does. It's really stinky. They got to have someone that can play besides Jordan Ayew.
It's like stale
Someone who can
cheese.
play. Yeah, besides someone who can come in off the bench other than Schlupp. Like it just there has to be better things out there right now. Nathaniel Klein and stuff. It's like come on. You can't just have a team built on Etze and Elise, 2 injury prone guys
Yeah,
forever. So we'll see. We sure will see.
we shall see. All right, next game. It was a
Villa
doozy.
Brentford. Wow. Very odd game.
Indeed. It was a game of two halves.
Yeah, to say the least. This is kind of what we saw with Brentford against Chelsea a few weeks back, where they got a draw. Brentford first half, non-existent. Second half, it's like, what is this?
They
They found out how to
awakened.
attack. They found out how to attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not to mention, it's one of those things that's weird because you feel like Brentford had this in them because we've seen it in years past, but
Mhm.
at the same time, they've been so bad that it's like, I don't think this is the same team. But
Yeah.
yet, they come out of nowhere and they have one of those performances. They're just fewer and far in between this year than the past few years. Because this is bound to be their worst season in the Premier League. And they'll stay up comfortably, but at the same time, it's like, it didn't feel good. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But getting into it early, Villa, like you said, definitely the better team in the first half. Plenty of chances. Um, I mean, Brentford did have one or two early, and Buemo had a pretty good chance early on, but um, felt like there's just weird sequences. Like Villa had that one corner, like the 25th minute, when it looked like Flecken like caught the ball and then like almost tipped in the net with it, but it like but like fell out. I don't know. It was very odd, but uh, yeah, Villa for the most part in possession, holding the ball around the box. Not too many direct threats, but they do get a goal. 38th minute, Ollie Watkins. Nice little curled ball in from John McGinn. Right on Watkins' head, scores against his former team in the Ollie Watkins derby. On my fantasy bench because they made it seem like he
Me
wouldn't
too.
play.
Yep.
Villa
I'm with you.
have some shame. Tell me Ollie Watkins is playing sooner, and that's an easy 13 points. I
You
mean, it'd be
can't
for you
y-
too, but
you can't go off at halftime in the previous game and then start the next game. That's just
yeah,
not allowed.
especially yeah, not allowed is right. Um, and then again they had like a little scramble. I guess right before half on a corner, where it was a good chance, but deflects wide. And what goes in halftime 1-0. Second half, Villa get a goal right away. Morgan Rogers, the Middlesbrough lad,
Hmm.
getting in there. First Premier League goal for him. Tielemans on the assist. He's been cooking lately for Villa. He's been kind of one of their more influential players down the stretch here. And, the weird thing is that their offense still has not dropped off, but it's their defense. And that's clear as we see Brentford get going here.
Yeah, and
At least
it's weird
Tielemans.
too because it'll be like after they go up, 2 or 3 goals, and then the defense just drops off out of nowhere.
Oh, Chelsea syndrome. Um, Yeah, I know. And I was thinking about it today. I was like, man, you know who they really, really miss? Kamara. They miss Kamara so bad
Yeah.
after going out this year. And it's honestly kind of impressive that they've at least been able to kind of hang around what they were doing. Um, I mean, yeah, I saw a stat that was without Kamara, he's missed 12 Premier League games since his injury. 8 of the 12 they conceded 2 or more goals. And their defense wasn't like, top 3 in the league before they had him, but 8 out of 12, I mean 2/3 of the game, Sam, they're conceding at least 2. They have the firepower to outscore the other team, but the
Yeah.
defense really is in rough shape with the midfield not as defensive orientated as before.
Yeah, especially at home too. You go up 2-0. That should be lights out, but hasn't been the case.
Not only should it be lights out against Brentford of all teams who've had scoring issues lately.
Yeah, but you know who doesn't? Zanka.
Oh my goodness. What
Can
was
you
he
believe
even
it?
doing in the box?
Yeah,
The classic
what was he doing?
the classic Harry Maguire just in the box. I mean, like they're sending balls in, don't get me wrong, but like it wasn't like a set piece or anything. He was just up there. And he gets a little flick on it. But that was kind of the thing with the second half of Brentford, able to win the ball and then really kind of cruise past Villa's uh, defense in the mid third, get
Yeah.
to those wide spots, and then just send balls in.
There was
I think
very, very little resistance.
that was virtually, I think, all 3 of their goals, was it not? Came
Yeah.
off like crosses. I mean, but I mean, hey, when Luca Digne's out there, you got to go at him. It's your best bet. You got to get wide, and you just got to send crosses in. Zonka gets one. Second one, 60th minute. I'm struggling to remember who crossed that one in.
Regulon.
Regulon sends it in, and Mbomo. Enough space not just to go for a header. He just straight up volleys it bottom corner, Sam.
Yes. Very nice.
It was. This time it wasn't Dini's side, though. It was Konsa that got torched, but also not great defending, to say the least, by Mr. Pau Torres on that
Yeah.
one. He just said, I'm not going to get there to head that away. And Abomo said, thank you. Let me volley that. Uh,
Yeah. Third goal was pretty similar too, coming from across from Regulon again, and then Wisa just able to walk through the box with pretty much no contest for the ball, and just
yeah.
easy enough.
Yeah, just back post kind of tap in as it squared across the face of net. I just thought it was weird that when they gave up the 2 goals, they're like, all right, let's take Morgan Rogers off and bring in Zaniolo, a guy who like does not track back at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, let's bring this guy on. This will help a lot. And Wisa's back, Sam. It's like he never left. But credit to Brentford on this. You know what they do with their set pieces. This technically wasn't really a set piece, but they went really quick on that free kick.
Yep.
And Brentford's able to ping the ball out wide like they were. And just again, I talked about this, was it the last pod or 2 pods ago? But this whole like just lack of Premier League defending where teams are just like allowing crosses to go in.
Yeah.
It's like what is going on here? It's almost like if basketball teams just were like, you know what, we'll give you the corner 3. We'll just give that to you. Like one of the most efficient shots in the sport. It's like it's just crazy. Like, yeah, you know what we'll do? We'll let you get to the end line and then just swing a ball in, and you have like 2 guys in the box, and you're at least have like a 1/3 chance that it's going to be a header on target.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what happened on the 3rd goal too.
Yeah.
uh,
It just feels like a lack of concentration from Villa's perspective. Before we get
yeah,
into the 3rd goal there, but just like you said, that quick free kick taken, that's just something you got to be aware of.
hmm No, for sure. And yeah, like I was saying on the fourth goal, I mean, lack of concentration there for Brentford. Even I don't really understand what was
Yeah. Very
going
poor
on.
defending in this game. Defending optional.
Defending optional is right, and Flecken came out to try to like touch it away and stuff. He couldn't even get to it. Not not the best for goalkeeping and defending in this one. It's Watkins who heads it in for his second on the day. After that, big strong push for Villa before added time to add one for the winners. Zaniolo got stuffed and forced a corner, and then someone went for like a bike at like the 90th minute, and it went a little high. But other than that, I think that was about it for chances to wrap up the game.
Yeah.
Do you think, as it ends 3-3, do you think that this is kind of just concerning for Villa? Maybe not for their project, because that might be a bit extreme. But like, do you think like what if they already peaked and it's been like it was just a good run of like 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like they are losing a little bit of steam here towards the end.
Yeah,
But, like you said, missing a key piece like Kamara, especially in that defensive midfield spot where they so badly need it. But then also it just feels like, things like lack of concentration could be a symptom of, the end of the
lack of
season.
lack of concentration, a little bit of squad rotation with Europe. Um, even just not having the exact same squad in there game after game, having the same people uh playing a little more rotation. It's enough to throw it off just a bit, even against Brentford. So, did this Brentford game show you any signs of life, maybe for their attack going forward, or you just chalk it up to Villa were having a rough game?
I mean, you can always appreciate when a team comes back after being down 2-0, you know.
Yeah,
You just wish that it didn't take Brentford going down 2-0 to ignite something.
yeah. I and I brought it up a pot or two ago as well, where it's like, well, at least they have Mbumo back, and
Yeah.
he was so good to start the year, so good.
Hmm.
For him to go down, that was absolutely brutal for Brentford, and then they had to wait to get Tony back, and Tony obviously not even starting this one, just coming off the bench. They gave him a little break. Wisa and Mbuma up top both getting goals. I
Yeah,
don't know. Now there's reports that Tony's only worth like 30 or 40. I mean, if someone can get him for that, I mean, 30 to 40 these days,
yeah,
who cares? That's chump change for virtually every team in the league,
indeed.
unless Crystal Palace. Um, or this next team, Everton.
Game of the week,
Game of the
the
week.
Sean Dyche Derby.
Yeah, there's like 3 penalties that could have been given that weren't. There's a lot going on in this game, and it was not good. Not good stuff.
Yes.
The goal was terrible, of course it was, because why wouldn't it be? There's
Oh,
a
very
red
crap.
card. It was bad.
Yeah,
It
I
was
mean,
stinky.
yeah, first half, basically no chances for either side up until the goal. Burnley with more possession, but not really
Half
doing anything.
half chances are would even be generous. There just was not a whole lot going on. And Burnley, I mean, when they have to break down a team, I mean, I don't get the point of them holding the ball when it just doesn't feel like they're going to do anything in possession. Yeah, I just feel like they'd be better off if they went with a style that was more like low block and counter, like a lot of the
Yeah,
teams near the bottom tend to always do. But they're
yeah,
just adamant. They're like, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it.
yep,
We're going to try to play like the big boys. And it's like, you have terrible players.
indeed. Just before halftime, Muric with a huge mistake, gifting a
Where was this
goal.
against Chelsea? Where was that? He stands on his head, and then the next week he's like, watch this. Watch this, lads.
Isn't it funny? Who was it last week that this happened to? I can't remember.
Let me pull up the games real quick.
But don't you remember like the same exact thing
Darweezy.
happened?
Darweezy did it to Gerbich.
Yes,
Before I
to
had
Gerbich.
to think.
And it's like,
Gerbich.
what's wrong with these goalkeepers? Like, why do they think they can just
I don't
stand with
blame
the
the
ball
goalies.
forever?
I don't blame. I
How can
don't
you not blame the goalie?
because I blame these managers that think that every goalie has to play with the ball at his feet. They all think they're Manuel Neuer.
I
Stop.
mean,
Stop.
you should be
Just
able
hoof
to.
the ball.
You should be able to
Hoof the
see a
ball.
guy coming onto you, just
Yeah,
kick it down the
hoof.
field.
You hoof the ball. Yes, it's in that aspect. Yeah, hoof the ball down the field. But at the same time, why are you letting your goalie play with the ball if he's not good? I don't understand. Have it at least be one of your center backs or something, or just maybe don't play that style. Maybe you're not meant to play that style. Did that thought
Yes,
cross your mind, Vincent Company, that your backup
you're not
goalie?
managing Manchester City.
Yeah, I just don't get it. So yeah, obviously it's the goalie's fault. Yes, I agree with you, Sam. But at the same time, why are these guys being forced to do that? Can't you just have a shot stopper? Like, and I get it if you want to criticize like elite guys, like Donnarumma gets criticized all the time because he's pretty much like the Italian Joe Hart. He just stops shots and he can't distribute the ball. I get that, but we're talking about Burnley's goalie. Why is Burnley playing? What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
But also, yeah, I mean it's just bad because he walks. Calvert Lewin is walking up to him, walking, not running. Like at least Darweezy was like sprinting at Gerbich.
Yes, there was
You know?
a long time to be
Yeah,
able to get rid of the ball.
yeah. And then there really was no way he could get rid of the ball because everyone's just super far away and there's no outlet. Terrible, terrible stuff from Burnley. What else is new? This is why they're at the bottom. Uh, so it goes in halftime 1-0. Second half, um, I mean, just sloppy Burnley giveaways. Calvert Lewin should have. I don't know if they should have had a second, but he had a really good chance at one at the
Yes.
60th minute, and then just has a pretty terrible shot. Um, and then right after that chance, Everton have another kind of counter attack, um, in which they aren't able to score again. I think that was Calvert Lewin too, right? With the header. No, Ducore.
Ducore.
Ducore had a headed chance, and it's just like, what in the hell is this? About 5-10 minutes later, Burnley we're on the brink of having another giveaway for a counterattack for Everton. And instead Dara O'Shea said, how about a red card? As I had a terrible touch and couldn't pass the ball.
Ugh. Burnley.
Props
Burnley.
to Dwight McNeil for not celebrating drawing the red card against his old team. Do you think that something crossed Burnley fans' mind? I wonder how Burnley fans feel about that. That's probably one of the few teams I don't have a pulse for in terms of how their fans feel. They have to like hate it, right?
I don't know. I feel like they cope for Vincent Company.
Well, that gets you nowhere. That gets you relegated.
Yeah.
You
And
know what
that's
Sean Dyche grindhouse style gets you? Safety. Safety and one Europa League appearance in like 10 years. Um, I mean, after that, I was kind of surprised Everton didn't really take it to Burnley in terms of creating chances and holding possession, but I mean, I guess it is what it is. Every chance besides the one Ducore chance really kind of came down to Calvert-Lewin in this game. And Sam, you said it. You're not a big fan of Calvert-Lewin. I think the only other one I can think of was near the very end. Beto was like clear on net and got sideswiped by Berga, and they just didn't call it.
yeah, it was a robust challenge.
Little leg to leg, and it's like, oh, they ran into each other. It's like I don't think so. I think you literally just like put your legs on his legs. I think
Yeah.
that's what happened. And then at the very end, you could add another penalty Um, with James Gardner getting totally clipped
Hmm.
on like the edge of the box. Or was he in the box? I think he was. I have no idea. I'm like 90% sure he was in the box, but um, regardless, it didn't matter because it would have been a penalty for Everton. They get the 1-0 win on their terrible, terrible goal, Sam.
Yeah. Pretty rough. I was thinking like we've been like thinking about Everton and the points deduction. And it's like, do I even want Everton to be up anymore? I'm not sure I do. Like
I don't really care.
they
I'm not
hamstrung
for it against them. They're
themselves.
kind of there.
They hamstrung themselves so bad with terrible transfers that now they cannot spend any money whatsoever. And then they just put out these terrible teams.
You know what they kind of remind me of? And it's a little different because this team didn't spend quite like Everton did, obviously. But when Swansea used to be like entertaining, and then they just like immediately went to like they had to grind out these like crappy games and they're like really bad.
Yeah.
Does you get that feel from them? Where it's
Yeah,
just
I
like,
think so.
ugh. It's just like, yeah,
And I think that's going to be more common too, with the points deduction thing. Like teams are just not going to spend money, and that's just going to mean that the mid-table clubs suck.
yeah. No, for sure.
I mean,
I
how
mean,
many
it's
teams are worried about, points deduction type stuff? Seems like there's at least
a
like
handful.
5.
Yeah, 100%. And one of them's Man City, and they're not going to have it slapped on them.
Yes.
Um, so I guess we'll probably have. I mean, this you wouldn't say virtually seals it because they're at 27. They're only 2 points up, but they have a game in hand. It feels like Everton are going to stay up, even with the points deduction. Once again, I think the funniest thing is that it was for overspending 17 million pounds. Did you see that?
No.
It was 17 million pounds that they overspent in a year and didn't uh like register or whatever. And then someone replied to like the main tweet. It was a picture of Neil Maupay's transfer. It was like 16.8 million pounds or something like that. Like Neil Maupay cost us 2 points. Like that's hilarious. Um, yeah. Well, Burnley again. They had a hope for 2 seconds, and then it's like, oh nope, they suck. Um, moving on. Moving on to Fulham and Newcastle. Proper mid-table clash, Sam.
Yes.
Newcastle coming to life. At least results-wise. Not really performance-wise.
Yeah, not really performance-wise. I mean, you got to say
Fulham
Fulham.
also showing that they're just totally inconsistent.
Yeah, I think the problem with Fulham, and it was kind of epitomized by this game, first half, they get the majority of the possession, but then they just start to move the ball way too slow and really do nothing with their possession. It
Yeah,
seems like you think about Fulham, when are they most dangerous? It's like hitting on the
they're going
counter.
fast. Yeah. And not even necessarily counter. Like it could be build up, but it's kind of like a
Yeah.
little more fast. Once they get slow, they might as well do like just cross the ball in the box or just take like a long shot or something.
Yeah, I
Because
can't
it's
think
just
of like one time where Fulham had like a long drawn out build up that resulted in a goal.
yeah, it doesn't. It rarely ever happens. They have to be moving fast, and I felt like in the first half they had a little bit like that, but it wasn't really resulting in much. Um, I
Yeah.
guess
I mean, they had a couple of good chances. Polina with one that dragged just wide, and then Muniz had one that he was in a good spot but couldn't quite get the ball out from under his feet. So
player of the
definitely
month,
chances.
Moonies. Do you?
Indeed,
I'm
indeed.
glad he won. And I asked you today. I was like, "Do you think he's gonna keep this up?" And you're like, "I don't know. It's hard to say." I don't think he is. I think this is gonna be one of those things where we look back and we're like, "Remember when he was like amazing for like a 10 game stretch?"
Yeah.
I just can't believe it.
I mean, my gut tells me no, he won't keep it up. But then when I watch him, it seems like he's got the tools to be a good player. So
Yeah, we shall see. I mean, what's weird is in this game, what I'm telling you about them popping long shots. There's one or two where they did it too soon on counterattacks, like Pereira did it and whatnot.
mhm.
But let's talk about Newcastle in this one. They did not have virtually anything going in terms of attack in this one.
Yeah.
Isak had one that was played through a little. I guess the pass wasn't bad. It's just he kind of took a little too much of a touch, too heavy of a touch, and Leno came out and claimed it.
Mhm.
But yeah, Gordon, Murphy, not able to get anything going wide in the first half. Second half definitely looked a little better. They're at least moving, kind of breaking down the levels of Fulham in midfield, but it's just it has not been clicking for Newcastle. But they won't care. They're getting results these days out of nothing. So it's also kind of whenever it's a grinded out kind of game, I feel like that will always kind of help Newcastle. And this was
Yeah.
definitely just a grind out kind of game.
Yeah. So this one goes into halftime 0-0. Second half, you know, Anthony Gordon had a chance, pushed away, and then Newcastle did score through Fabian Schär scoring at the back post from
Disallowed.
across, but disallowed for push. Calvin Bassey by Dan Burn. I thought that was a fair call, personally.
Yeah, I did too. I just thought it'd be one of those where they don't call it.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave him an elbow like to the neck.
Yeah.
Can't really do that when you're like jumping and you push and yeah,
Especially when that happens like right in front of
where the
the
goal
player
happens.
that scores the goal.
Yeah.
But Newcastle get that leading goal, and this time it counts. Harvey Barnes' cross is cleared by Anthony Robinson quite poorly, and it falls to Bruno G at the top of the box, who scores late winner for Newcastle just to squeak it out.
Yeah, I don't really know. Um, and Anderson had a nice play on that as well with
Yeah.
keeping it a little hold up to get it out to Barnes. Barnes, great cross to put it in a dangerous spot, but Anthony Robinson, I don't know, kind of hard to blame him there just because it was such a dangerous cross, but also you just put it back in the middle of the box, lad. Like anywhere else, maybe get a little more on it in
Yeah.
terms of getting it high, but high and out of there. But Bruno G walks up, rips it, makes it 1-0. That's really all they needed. Had some sightings of Armando Broya and Adama Traore in this one, though, Sam, for Fulham. I know you love both those guys.
Yeah, Traore couldn't work his late magic.
No, I'm glad that he has like the dreads that hang over the top now. That's a great look for him.
Yeah. Very
With
very strange the back to front comb
the
over.
back to front, and then they're highlighted, so they kind of look like if there was such a thing as like white cheddar, like Cheeto puff kind of things.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the hair looks like. They look, uh, yeah. So Newcastle really clicking. Fulham, their years always it's been kind of done. It's been done for a bit. They are what they are. They're like, are they the worst of the mid-table or the best of the crap teams? I think they're the worst of the mid-table, if you ask me.
I guess it depends how you define mid-table. I don't know if I'd say they're the worst. They're just kind of there.
So they're 13th right now, 39. Bournemouth is at 41 points and
I think
12th.
they're better than Bournemouth.
Wolves, and that's with a game in hand on Fulham. Wolves, who also have a game in hand on Fulham, are 3 points better. Brighton are 4 points better. Man, I tell you, it feels like Brighton sitting at 43. It feels like they've got 10 points since like November. I have no proof of this,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels like that. And then Chelsea, you know what? I take it back. Chelsea's the worst of the mid-table. I don't care that they're ninth. They're the worst of the mid-table.
Yeah, agreed.
Is Man U part of the mid-table? the range? Is the range from 49 to 39 in points? Is that mid-table?
Seems fair.
The quality-wise, they definitely are. All right, moving on, Sam. Luton and Bournemouth. We just had this game not long ago, and it was the comeback of all comebacks.
Indeed.
This
This
game had a
time.
comeback, but it was revenge comeback.
Yeah, exactly. Luton striking their revenge. This game pretty tightly contested right off the get-go. Chances for Bournemouth early on. Tavernier catching the post from a free kick.
Mm-hmm. That was nice.
And then
What's not nice is
Kluivert.
Bournemouth's terrible kits that look like when they zoom in and they look like really zoomed in fingerprints. It's like the like texture of the jersey, not
Yeah,
texture but pattern.
not a fan.
No. Bournemouth were definitely the better team in attack early. A lot of counterattack chances. Kluivert hitting the post shortly after Tavernier.
Mm-hmm.
So, and anytime they won it off Luton, it was like instant counterattack. And this is
Yeah.
what we've been seeing from Luton lately, and that's kind of why you're worried for them. But it feels like Luton has to play like that and then try to come back. Because if they get the lead early, they're going to blow it.
They have to
There's no-
sabotage themselves.
They have to either become on the comeback with all the momentum, or they just have to. They just are going to lose if they score too soon because it's going to be over. Did have a good chance at the 20th minute though. Nice work by Townsend up the wing. A little cross in for Chong that he took a little touch. Nice little turn, but skies the shot from the edge of the box. Not an easy one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, ends up going into halftime 0-0. Second half. Early chance for Carlton Morris. Big save from Neto on that. Then just a couple minutes later, Bournemouth taking the lead. Kluivert laying off a ball for Tavernier, who unleashes a rip from outside the box. Finds the bottom corner to take the lead.
Yeah, first off with that chance you're talking about for Luton, just terrible, terrible defensive play by Bournemouth trying to play out of the back. This goes back to our, maybe you don't have to play out of the back all the time.
Yes.
It's one thing when you play in midfield. It's so weird that some of these teams are like so afraid to keep the ball in midfield and then get caught out, but they're like, "Oh no, it's fine if we do this around our own box because then we have defenders back and stuff." And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that must be the logic because why else would you be playing the ball across the face of your own box? Like that
Yeah.
does not. That seems like the most dangerous area to be doing that stuff. But on the goal, nice passing sequence. And a real nice finish by Kluivert to hit the side netting on that. That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. After that, a couple more chances for Luton. Ross Barkley outside the boot. Shot going just wide of the post. And then a chance for Carlton Morris.
Post. It was the
That
game
one
of
hitting the
posts.
post. Yeah, a lot of posts. But Luton get their breakthrough 73 minutes in. Jordan Clark makes a nice run through the midfield, gets the ball back after it falls kindly to him, and scores for the equalizer.
Weird bounce on that. They go back to him. It was like a Bournemouth player and a Luton player collide, and somehow the ball rolled closer to Bournemouth's net.
Yeah.
Again, pretty sloppy giveaway by Bournemouth, specifically their defense. I guess this was a bit more in midfield, but just like what are you doing? Just like a soft header back in the center of midfield. It's like, what were you thinking? Like somehow you have to clear the ball. You got to be more safe, especially the 1-0 lead. Not just like, all right, let me dink this header like 10 yards away from me and someone else will deal with it. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly fine. They did have a good chance on a counterattack. Dom Solanke got stonewalled by big Kaminsky.
Yes, very important save. And then late on, 90th minute, Mr. Collie Woodrow swinging in a ball for Carlton Morris. This time he can capitalize on the opportunity and a massive goal for Luton.
Yeah, Carlton Morris influential in the build-up play too. Nice little dribble move and a layoff, and you know what? He gets in that spot right there, back post area, very dangerous. The defending on that, looking to draw a penalty. I think it was Zabarny. Absolutely tragic. Just
Hmm.
literally tips over. It's like this. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you don't get the call, you're on the deck. And Morris has a clean shot on net, and that's exactly what happened.
Yep. Massive win for Luton. You could tell
They needed it.
how
They
how important it was on the faces of the players and
Lord Rob Edwards,
Lord Rob Edwards. Yeah.
who, by the way, like he's the only guy who does interviews for the team. You notice that? I don't think I've seen one interview with Ross Barkley this year.
Yeah.
Anytime they win, it's Rob Edwards, which makes sense. I mean, the managers always get interviewed, but I don't see
Mhm.
any of the players being interviewed. It's very odd. Um, as for Bournemouth, like you said, they don't look all that great still. They had the nice run when we were like, is Areola gonna get sacked? And then they're like, no, they're just gonna win like 6 of 8, and they're gonna look fantastic. And really, ever since then, it has not been going. They've truly had a Southampton season if I've ever seen one.
Indeed.
Let's move on, Sam. It's the battle of the W's. West Ham and Wolves.
Yeah, this is a typical West Ham performance. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's
Starting
what they needed to do, and they kind of got away from it, and that's why it's been such a struggle for them. But
Yeah.
Wolves in possession look pretty solid. Out of possession, going on the counter attack look good. West Ham were just in that first half were not. It was not going for them, Sam.
Yeah. They were not in the game really other than they had one chance, Suchek from close range after a horrendous giveaway from Semedo. I mean, that
Yeah, that
was,
was brutal.
constructing your own downfall there from Wolves there. But other than that, very much all Wolves. Um,
Ait Nuri Cook Sesh
Ike
virtually up
Nuri,
top. I
yeah,
mean, he was obviously wide, but he was pretty much like a winger slash cam.
yeah,
Sarabia up top takes the penalty and scores. I mean, Pablo Sarabia has to be your striker. It just goes to show where Wolves are at injury crisis wise.
yeah. Just trying to patch it together to get through the end of the season. Hopefully, guys coming back. Cunha and Wang Hee Chain supposed to be back soon. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
like you
but that,
said,
that
Emerson
counterattack was deadly.
giving away the penalty. Ait Nuri brought down. Pretty stonewall penalty.
Yeah, nothing Emerson could really do, not his fault, but it was in fact a penalty and a nice penalty at that by Sarabia post and in.
Yeah. Goes into halftime 1-0. And then second half, big changes. Bowen and Ait Nuri both come off injured. That
Yep.
that definitely changed the game for sure. Especially from
Yeah, and
Wolves' perspective, just losing that outlet.
yeah, and Cunha comes on, which is a good sign, but also of course it's at the expense of losing another guy to injury.
Hmm.
And the whole thing with Bowen, not not ideal for West Ham to lose one of, if not your best player. Um, but the matter of the fact is that you know, in a push for European spots, not going to be easy losing Jared Bowen.
Hmm.
No question about that. Um, thought it was interesting that little double sub to start the half. Antonio for Sushek, a little more attack. Ben Johnson for Sufal, who Sufal leaving at the end of the year as his contract is up. Makes sense. West Ham will have to get younger at some point eventually, Sam.
Yeah.
So might as well start with Sufal for the meantime.
Hmm.
Uh West Ham though in this half, real good chances. To start, Ward Prowse had a good free kick chance early. I think that got like deflected wide, didn't it? But
Yep.
doesn't matter. It looked like it was going to be a good chance to score, and then West Ham do score, but it is not. I guess disallowed, if you will. It wasn't even a review.
Yeah.
It was just Emerson with a header back post. What did you think about that one?
I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of the foul on Semedo that they ruled it off for, but I can't recall it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they just called it for like a push in the back, and I just didn't really see it, to be honest. But it's one of those things where sometimes they just don't show good angles of the VAR reviews, and it's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Um, but West Ham do get a penalty. Ben Johnson winning the ball back in the attacking third, I guess really in the box for all that matter, and then just squares the ball, goes right off Kilman's hand. Kilman pleaded his case, saying not much he could do. West Ham awarded the penalty. Lucas Paqueta, Man City's own, pretty much, Sam. A little run up, a little stop, a little run again. Slots it in. Makes it 1-1.
Yeah, Wolves masters of their own downfall on that one.
True. But I was impressed by Ben Johnson. It was a good substitute, and he came on and actually played real well in this one. So it was a good call by Moise.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get, Sam, the special. James Ward-Prowse off the corner into his own. Well, not into his own net. That'd be wild. Into the net for a goal, Sam. Right
Yeah.
over Saw's head.
It seemed like there may have been some, sunlight in the eyes of Jose Saw's eyes,
It seems like that
preventing
could
him
be the
from seeing the
case.
cross.
Or perhaps maybe bumping into Antonio
Yeah,
could have played a factor. Normally they call that and they give it to the refs, or the refs seem to
goalkeeper.
always give it to the goalies.
Yeah,
But
and it
not
did
on this
seem
one.
to seem windy. I think that might have played a part. Just kind of blew it
Potentially, it just
towards
kept
goal.
sailing. It totally just kept sailing. But James Ward-Prowse obviously had that great Southampton free kick at the Molyneux, and now he's got this one. So maybe he should sign for Wolves and he just win the Puskas 1 year or something. Who knows?
Yes.
And then at the death, Wolves score off the cross. And guess what, Sam? It is disallowed. They said goalie interference for pretty much.
Yeah,
I mean,
Chirewa in an offside position. It's tough
Sam,
because
you
Fabianski was not getting to that ball whatsoever.
yeah, but have you considered that when Man City does it and the goalie could actually save it, that it's not?
That's true. I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. Um, tough for Gaz O'Neill and Wolves. Gaz was not happy. Moyes had to tell him, he's like, hey, look, I've been fucked over many times in this league.
I mean, that
I-
one, it
What
just
goes around comes around. It's bad luck for
it
Wolves.
it
'cause
was just so close. Like the like Chirewa was standing like literally right on top of Fabianski. They kind of forced the referees into making that call.
true, and it's not even necessarily his fault to be in that spot because you're supposed to crowd the goalkeeper.
Yeah,
So if your teammate wins a free header, clear as day, and it's a bullet header like it was,
can't
what are
do
you gonna
anything.
do? Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
That's so tough for the young lad and also for Wolves in general, but a win nonetheless for West Ham, and they needed it badly.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter
Needed it.
how. Just said they did
Needed it in the worst way. Exactly. And also no Calvin Phillips this game.
it. Coincidence?
I think so.
Great player. All right, let's move on to Brighton versus Arsenal. Last game of Saturday, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this one started off It was, competitive, I would say, to start. Arsenal had that early chance through Gabriel, but after that, there weren't a whole lot of chances early on up until that goal from Saka. But, felt like Brighton wasn't playing too bad up until that point.
No, I mean their passing was really well. I thought Arsenal shape, and I don't even know, maybe it wasn't Arsenal shape, but I thought Brighton actually were playing pretty well in terms of finding pockets of space in between Arsenal's defensive shape, given the fact Arsenal have been pretty solid on defense to say the least. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, I mean Saka had a pretty good chance early on, and Jesus had one as well. I
Yeah.
guess Jesus probably had two, if you think about it, but he fucked that header so bad it didn't look that great. But he does win that penalty. I mean, I don't know why people said this, and it wasn't that many, but people acting like Lamptey getting the ball made a difference. It's
Getting
like
like a
he
small
completely,
sliver of the ball.
yeah, no, he got the ball, but what matters most is he completely like just took out both legs of Gabby Jesus.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's at some point it matters, and yeah, that was definitely a penalty, no doubt.
Yeah.
Saka steps up, he scores it. Big Bart, nothing he could do.
Mm-hmm. Goes in halftime,
Mhm.
1-0 Arsenal. Second half, pushing for the second goal. They get that second goal. King Kai Havertz, once again, coming up clutch. This time, the assist provided by Lord Jorginho.
Chelsea all over the
Yeah,
Premier
the
League,
Chelsea
baby.
connection.
Yeah,
You
that's what you
never
love to see.
expected Jorginho overlap. I'll say that.
I do. You just wouldn't know. There's a reason he finished third in Ballon d'Or, Sam.
Yes.
What can you say? It's also just because Saka was like on the ground and Estupiñán like just completely had a brain fart, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Then Leo Trossard gets subbed on, gets booed by the Brighton fans. Then what's he do? He hits on the counter, scores with a fantastic finish. It's got to be said. Hits the little hesitation move, and then hits the chip over for Bruggen.
It's a very weird. I don't. Brighton bother me. And here's the reason they bother me, because they crap on it. There's no rhyme or reason to why they like crap on guys that they used to have. Clearly, they're a smaller club, mid-table club, so they're bound to sell to the big boys. But they boo Caicedo, and I'm pretty sure Bobby Sanchez. So they'll boo their Chelsea guys. Same with Cucurella. They'll boo the guys that go to Arsenal, like Trossard. But then they sit there and they'll like cheer McAllister. I don't. And like I don't. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
And they're like,
I
why
mean,
can't they all be like McAllister? It's
it's
like,
yeah,
what did he do that was so different than the other guys?
and it's funny because looking at it, McAllister didn't bring in that much of a transfer fee compared to like a Casado or Cucurella.
None of it makes sense. There's
You
no
know,
rhyme or reason to it. I've tried to think about everything. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
yeah.
It's it's crazy. So finishes 3-0. Arsenal are rolling. Sam said they had no chance a long time ago. I've still kept them in there in that title race. I'm still waiting for the shoe to drop on that. We kind of saw that performance in the Bundesliga, the Champions League against the Bundesliga champions,
Yeah.
Bayern München. Um, but still atop the Premier League on goal difference. Anything else you want to add about this? Anything about Brighton?
I think overall, just a good performance by Arsenal against a team that they've struggled with in the past.
That's fair. I don't have much to say other than that. I guess I would say if I'm surprised about anything, it's more so the Odegaard's impact on the game without just having and not just this game, but all games without having goals and assists. It's kind of what like Man U probably want out of Bruno, if you think about it, but they're just not getting that. Does that make sense?
I guess. I mean, I don't
He
know.
still has goals and assists once in a while, but it's just not as much as you would think or imagine, because so many guys are stepping up for Arsenal, including King Kai, who I think is matched or is about the same as his best year at Chelsea under Tuchel, the 2021-2022 season.
Hmm.
So, maybe it is money well spent by Arsenal to get him in that spot. But I still feel like Arsenal really could use a 9, just a straight out and out 9. Do you
Yeah.
feel that way or no?
I mean, it's
Oh, also
it's hard to say.
let's. I mean, I mentioned I hate to cut you off, and we were talking about Trossard, but the same thing with Ben White because
Yeah.
I said the Brighton guys, but I couldn't remember who else was from Brighton on Arsenal. Ben White, they crap on Ben White. There's no that I don't understand. There's no rhyme or reason to it. But continue. What do you think about They should have a 9.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a tight spot, I think, at the moment, when you have guys like Kai Havertz performing, but I don't know if you want to
You can't
commit all
rely on
your
him to be your
eggs
9.
to that basket.
I'm here to tell you right now, as Chelsea's leading goal scorer last year, 7 goals. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it's necessarily like go out and get a guy that's like £100 million player type deal.
No, because a lot of times those guys are flops anyways. You're better off just. I feel like 40 is the sweet spot right now for a transfer. Sure, he might still like not work out, but that feels like the number where there's been a lot more hits than misses lately. You look at McAllister, you look at Cole Palmer, um, even a guy like Nicholas Jackson, like 9 goals, 3 assists. Is that great? No, but for 40 mil on a 22-year-old, like that just feels like decent enough value to where it's something. Like 100 mil, unless it's Declan Rice, I don't understand. So
All
I
right.
just don't know. Oh, one last thing. I just don't know if there's that guy out there right now, as
Yeah.
world footy in general is in a transition period of stars to where there's
Yeah.
£100 million striker. I digress. Let's move on.
All
Liverpool
right.
United.
Moving on to the big one at Old Trafford, Manchester United versus Liverpool. This one, pretty crazy start to the game.
Yeah, I mean, man, you score right away. It's just offside by Garnacho. I swear to God, anytime United have a good chance, they just score. Whether it's on or off, their finishing is incredible for the most part, Sam. Do they miss any just like sitters?
Well, I
It
mean,
feels like they make all
Marcus
gimme.
Rashford
Okay, well, when has he got in the position to score a gimme lately?
against Man City twice.
Eh, guess.
But anyways, we digress. Yeah, that goal disallowed. After that, it kind of, things settled out. Felt like teams feeling each other out up until the goal.
Yeah, but it's definitely Liverpool gained
Yeah,
momentum and control of it.
yeah,
Szoboszlai with a good chance that he just rockets over the bar barely.
yeah.
I mean, this has been so bad by United lately in that midfield. Casemiro cannot move.
Man is
He
cooked.
cannot move. His feet are in wet cement. He's it's not even playing too much. I think he's just actually toast.
Yeah,
They got about
he's old.
half a year out of him.
Yeah.
And it was all right for that first half. And then it was just, oh, way too much time. They're over relying on like a 33-year-old. This isn't going to happen.
But
Uh,
Liverpool take the
First
lead
goal, Luis
from a
Diaz.
corner. Initial ball flicked on by Darwizi Habibi to Luis Diaz, like you said. Scores with a nice side volley there.
Thoughts on rumor of him going to PSG?
Luis Diaz?
Yes.
I mean, if you're Liverpool, I don't think you'd object to that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's good enough or young enough to say we got to keep this guy, especially going into more of a transition.
True. After that, I mean, Liverpool really had chances galore, Sam, to add to this.
Yeah, this was definitely one of those Liverpool games where they have like 9 million chances.
Yeah, and they just don't ever take advantage. It's truly just total points dropped out there by Liverpool, and it really falls on their attack for the most part because they had plenty of counterattack opportunities, Sam.
Yeah.
Mo Salah with a big one at the 33rd minute with a curler saved by Onana. And
Yeah.
Onana really coming into his own with the shot stopping lately too.
It just felt like for some reason Liverpool weren't being patient with their chances. They would just, take shots that weren't really quality shots in the first half. It's like, okay, you understand, like if you're down a goal, trying to get a goal. But at this point, you're up 1-0. Have some patience, work the ball, try and get some better chances rather than just, you know, shots from outside the box type
Yeah, I
stuff.
felt like their best move was just long balls in behind. That was their most dangerous, where they're just running at United
Yeah.
because any build-up play was not good. And then United, as it goes in halftime, 1-0. Second half, United win the ball on a little sloppy giveaway. Klopp's kids, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Klopp's kids, Jarrell, Mr. Kwanzaa, with a back pass to absolutely nobody. And Bruno Fernandes chips it in from about 50 yards out, almost the halfway line.
Yeah, that was pretty
It,
nuts.
it it was. It looked like it wasn't gonna have enough on it in terms of like height, because it was like at Kelleher's head, but it
Yeah.
was angling enough, and Kelleher was to the side enough to where it didn't. It did not matter.
Yeah, pretty crazy goal, and it just felt like kind of a like, whoa, Liverpool. Like you're not just able to fully, you know, let off the gas defensively. You still
And
have to
not
be
to mention,
cognizant.
it lets United in the game.
Yeah, when they weren't
United were
in it
not
at
in the
all.
game. It's
Yeah.
like sure you could be a second away from a Garnacho wonder goal or something, or moment of brilliance, but I mean that's kind of what it was with Bruno. One moment of brilliance, he had the chip from halfway. Uh, but United, it's just they're such an enigma, Sam. I just don't get it. They just play like crap the whole game, and then they have one chance. It's from the halfway line, and it goes in, and they score.
Yeah. It's a
And then
strange
after
game.
that, they actually start playing better. Uh, Garnacho did have a chance. They put over the bar, and then Rashford put in a nice whipped ball. It was going to find Casemiro, but he couldn't get anything quite on it. Still forced Kelleher into a save. And then Sam, this counterattack chance for
I mean,
Liverpool, the infamous counterattack chance. Luis Diaz to Darweezy, who does not drop it for Szoboszlai. He squares it directly across the face of net to nobody.
yeah.
So that's two now that's happened. In the Arsenal game, where it was like 4-on-1 against Declan Rice, and then this game where it was like 4-on-2.
Yeah,
And I
it's just
just
like
don't
they lose their composure in front of goal.
I don't know if it's composure, Sam, because 90% of the time it finds its way to Darweezy Habibi and he fluffs it. It's not like
Yeah.
it's like a mix of everyone doing it really. And it's like, oh my God, Luis Diaz, why did you do that? He did that a couple games ago in the City game, but not, this most of the time it's Darweezy and he's really letting Liverpool down.
Yep. And then an absolute moment brilliance from United, working the ball well in midfield. Casemiro and Kobe Mino linking up well. Ends up Kobe Mino making a run into the box, cuts inside, and just hits a wonderful curling goal. I mean, that you gotta give him props for that. That was pretty nice.
Oh, it was good. It was a great turn. Nice tidy finish to curl it to the back post. Um, I mean, yeah, it was someone put it side by side with the the Michaela goal from like what is that 2010 or whatever. It was incredible. Um, I mean, just the perfect curl on that, and we've been pumping the brakes on his hype train a little bit. This obviously will really get people going.
Yeah,
That's kind of
hard to pump that. Pump the
true.
brakes on that.
Yeah,
That was
it's
just
it's tough to do that. At the same time, it's United, and with their young guys, they're very hit or miss at times.
that's
But
true.
still, that was a fantastic shot, and he had a great performance out there, anyways, to say the least. Um, and then 81st minute, Harvey Elliott draws a penalty. Sam, your thoughts immediately?
The most Wan-Bissaka thing I've ever seen. Like, why? Why? That is such a bad challenge. Like, what are you even doing going for that ball like that?
Wanted ramen, and he saw the noodle
He
hair
saw the
on Hart,
noodles.
and he said, "Give me some of that." And Harvey Elliott said, "No, thank you," and he went down.
It was like embarrassingly bad.
He'd already passed the ball pretty much
Yeah.
when Wan-Bissaka went in. It was so far away, there's no point. And then one of the best things in the Premier League to watch, Mo Salah penalties. For how good he is, you never know what will happen.
I couldn't believe that McAllister didn't take this one. I thought he was gonna.
Well, he's their best penalty taker, that's for sure. But it's Mo Salah, the big man for the big occasion. But it wasn't even like an amazing penalty, but it was well enough. I mean, he didn't do too much with it, which he's done in the past. So
Yeah.
I'll give him props for that. A couple chances at the end, one for each team. At the very end, Harvey Elliott probably had the best one, but it was right at Onana. Not a ton of power, but is at least placed on net. Uh, Finishes 2-2. Incredible game. Wild game.
Yeah. That indeed it was, and like you said, 2 points dropped for Liverpool. Big 2 points dropped.
Yeah, to say the least. Um, for whatever reason, I think Man U is just Liverpool's slip up game.
Yeah, I mean, this is just one of those games, throw form out the window. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and clearly that's what happened. Same could be said for the likes of
Chelsea and
Chelsea and
Sheffield United.
Sheffield. Yeah, you
Who
throw
who
form out
could
the window for
ever?
a game like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, this is pure vibes.
I think Chelsea have to play a top four side every week for them to be a viable team. I don't think they can compete with any team that's uh below like 14th. I don't think it's possible. It's not
Yeah.
it's not even they don't know what to do. They just like totally it's like Charity FC but like times 1,000. They had this with the Abramovich era, but Todd Bowley's taken it to a whole nother level. Chelsea and Sheffield opens up. Chelsea get a goal off a corner. Has there been a corner goal? Was that the easiest corner goal in like how long? What's the last one that was that easy, Sam? It was
Oh,
like on Thiago Silva's foot in the middle of the box, and he flicked it onto the back post.
yeah. I'm sure last week when Sheffield United played,
Oh, I thought you
probably.
were gonna say when Chelsea played Burnley, and Dara O'Shea had like just a free header. Um, Probably looking like it'd be good for Chelsea. No, they said let's go into a shell and try to just counterattack against Sheffield, and they had to pay for it.
Shameless.
Sheffield looking the better side for an extended period of time. They come down, and Jaden Bogle in virtually a 2-on-0 with Petrovic. Petrovic, I guess he kind of dove at was it McBurney or no, it was Burton Diaz to try and stop that, but Bogle had other ideas. He said, "I'm going to shoot it near post." Goes off Petrovic's leg and in to make it 1-1.
Yeah, I don't know. You're Chelsea. That's pretty shameless.
Uh, you're telling me. Maybe Sheffield's hot. You know, they get a draw with Fulham, get a draw,
Yeah.
get a draw with Chelsea. It's more like these teams are just so bad, and they get like one draw, and then they see Chelsea, and they're like, "All right, we got this." And then they must hype themselves up and think, "All right, we got this third one." And then the next game, it's like Burnley with Everton. It's like, no, you don't.
I don't know. It's like how can you be so bad
It
that
doesn't make any
you're
sense. I mean,
dropping points to
so
Sheffield United?
not
Blimey.
even dropping points, Sam. Can I just say something? I'm gonna get this off my chest. I think Sheffield deserved the win. I think they
Sheffield
deserved to win.
Sheffield dropped points to Chelsea.
I think they did. I think
Ugh.
Sheffield deserved the win. Uh, yeah, I mean Thiago Silva. People clamoring to get back in the lineup because the defense is so bad, and then he scores. It's like, all right, and then he immediately has like a soft back pass to Petrovic and almost results in a goal. It's like I just don't know with Chelsea. Nothing about them makes sense. And then if Disasi can't play center back, don't play him. He's like 6'2", 200 pounds. He can't move. That might as well be me out there, Sam,
Mhm.
as a fullback. Could you imagine me as a fullback in the Premier League?
Cooking.
I would get cooked
Cooking.
every sequence. Like, uh, yeah. After that, Sheffield had a couple decent chances in the second half, but the finishing was not all that great. Kind of a game Sheffield wants, where the ball's just pinging around midfield, anyways. Chelsea do get the second goal. Moment of brilliance. Madueke, Cole Palmer playing it to him out wide, and then Madueke just walks in, takes a rip. I would say bad goalkeeping, but also I don't really know. It was a good shot, but at the same time, like it's like Gerbic was trying to get out of the way of it. He's like, I think he's gonna shoot it here, and he just completely dove out of the way. Um,
Didn't want to be on
my
the
favorite
poster.
my favorite part of the game had to be when your boy Ahmadzovic or whatever his name is, Ahmadzovic, whatever his name, went straight up, jumping 2-footer, and if he didn't get the ball, it's like an instant red card. But he got all ball. It probably should have been a yellow just for
I feel
attempt.
like he has one of those a game.
Yeah, he just like goes in both with 2 feet jumping. It's like I don't think that should be allowed, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Um, Chelsea make an absolutely genius move by taking off their whole team. They subbed their whole team, Sam. Cole Palmer, he got subbed off 74th minute. Subbed him off, and then they make a triple sub at the very end. Badiashile, Caicedo, I guess it's just a double sub. And then Sheffield come down. They play hoofball. They get some bounces. It falls to Ollie McBurney, and he slots it in for 2-2. And I'm not surprised in the least bit.
Yeah, it was just terrible defending, not clearing the ball,
So much
letting Sheffield United get just behind
so
the
much
back
for
line like that.
Thiago Silva's experience, Sam.
Yeah.
Matters a lot. He's a real leader out there for this team. It's almost like their defense just sucks.
It was like a 3-on-0. Like once the ball got put back into the box, like where'd everyone go?
Who's playing these guys on side? Who's playing Ollie McBurney on side? Doesn't make any sense. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say one thing and I forgot. Doesn't really matter. Oh, did you see this interview with Pochettino
No.
this week? Oh my god. It was like he pretty much went on to say that like tactics don't matter. He's like, yeah, it's just you just gotta go out there and make sure everyone's feeling good. It's like, no, I think you need a plan. I think you need a plan. I'm pretty sure you do because you're sitting in like 9th place. Chelsea, terrible. I don't see how he's back. Even they said if he gets Europa League, he'll still be there. I just don't see how you can bring him back, even if he gets Europa League. I mean,
Yeah, this ain't it, Chief.
it's not. And it's like they're the whole like this process. It's like at no point of this is the process, you know,
I don't see any
get
process.
get ninth. That's the thing. It's like the results are like might even be like a little better and stuff for a certain stretches where it's like, hey, we didn't lose. It's like, yeah, you drew 3 and won 1. What are you talking about? And the games are against Burnley and Sheffield. What are you talking about? Um, yeah, there's no process. There's no process. He has to get sacked. Simple as. All right, let's move on to the last game, Sam.
Last game. Tottenham. Forest.
Weird game to start.
Do you mean when Murillo almost scored from like 3/4 length of the field?
That we should have just known.
That would have been nutty.
Yeah, it's I mean we talked about him last week just in terms of like the prospect of him going to a big team, and we're like, how do we feel about it? I don't know. I just want to sit there for the next. I think this is all I'm gonna do to watch Forrest for the next few weeks. Is just watch him, because he's the only thing that's like mildly interesting about them,
Mm-hmm.
minus Chris Wood's ability to just score goals out of nowhere now.
Yeah.
There's that, and also uh the random like Hudson Odoi moment or something. Obviously, Gibbs White is the most entertaining player on the team, but as far as like, is Sangare good? Is it like I don't care anymore. I'm past the point of caring. Murillo is like the one guy I care about watching for this team, and Nuno Ball. He's gone next year, right? Is that just a new opening, right?
You think so?
I think so. What did he do to earn the job? Keep him up?
What's the other option?
Anyone else?
Pochettino?
Pochettino. Hey guys, we have
Chris
90
Wilder?
guys in here. We have 90 guys in here. I'm familiar with that. I was just at Chelsea.
Vincent
We're
Company?
gonna have a good time. Vincent Company. No, you know what I was thinking, and I don't think it'll happen just because when you go from Chelsea, you might. I just don't know where Graham Potter's next job is. Man, you keeps getting floated out there, and it feels like it could happen. But at the same time, it's all like crap sources. It's like the Sun, and I'm like, oh, that's deflating. Then Ajax is rumored for him, but I don't know. It just feels like if they wanted to, they could go like big money spending on an actual manager. But their whole team is a mess anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I guess you're right. You know, sure, keep Nuno.
Yes.
Who really cares? Um, yeah, but Forrest able to you know, kind of stay frisky. Stay
Mhm.
frisky in this one, to say the least. I mean, obviously, I'm just gonna get right to it, even though it happened after a few goals. The Chris Wood ringing the post, Sam. That was just blasting it as hard as he could from point blank was insane.
Yeah, that was pretty odd. I mean, this game had it all. Long range, short range, own goals. Fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of play, and I mean, Ainge ball on display well in this one. The Nuno effect on the return didn't get the motivate or the standing ovation like we would have thought.
Hey, that's manager of the month, Nuno, to you.
Yeah, he did have a good run.
He
I mean,
did.
that's better than anything AVB ever accomplished. Just kidding. I think he won 2. Somehow it's like if you do anything remotely impressive with Tottenham, everyone's like, oh. So,
Yeah, good hype.
yeah, I guess.
But yeah,
Um,
the goals.
it,
15 minutes in, Spurs working it down the left.
Big
Timo
Murillo.
Werner rolls it in. Own goal, Murillo.
Is
Tough one.
Timo Werner's Tottenham's best player? Are we sure?
Mm, I don't think so, but somehow he makes it happen. So
I'm telling you, man, he's in that winger role now where it just cooks. He just
just
cooks
put slow
good.
rollers into the box, and then
Yeah,
something
and teams don't know
happens.
what to do. And then Brendan Johnson sprints in and slaps it home, or
Yeah,
it's an own goal.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Forest, they fight back. 27 minutes in, they go down the right through Nico Williams and Alanga, who finds Chris Wood in the box. The man the myth, the legend. Chris Wood scores the first time finish through the legs of Pedro Porro. After that, like you said, hitting the post from about 2 inches away. Pretty
Yeah.
pretty nice on the open goal. Before halftime, Alonga had a chance. Well, kind of almost turned into a chance. A shoss tipped over the bar
Yeah.
by Vicario. Goes into halftime, 1-1. Second half,
Real quick, can I ask you?
yes.
Where do you have Vicario in the Premier League power rankings for goalie?
Good question. I'm not sure. Top 5,
I think it's
top
one of those
3.
things where like he's good, but on Tottenham it's really like it suits his strengths.
Yeah,
Or he does a real good job for what they need him to do, and they ask a lot. Like I don't like if he's on like City or something. Well, maybe City would be pretty good.
United.
Yeah, if he's on like United, it's like what? And he's only a shot stopper. Like I just feel like he's not used fully there.
Mhm.
So I feel like we wouldn't see it. I feel like he's perfect on Tottenham. But yeah, I think he's top 3 for sure this year. I'd probably say 1 is David Raya, 2 is Georgi Petrovic, and then tie maybe with like Boris goalies all in one, and then Vicario maybe. You didn't laugh, Sam. That's not. Yeah, that's not funny.
I just had to let that simmer.
Petrovic at 2, and then
Yeah.
Forrest.
I was
Crap
like,
goalie.
hold on, let him cook, let him cook, let him cook.
Yeah,
He's cooking.
no,
Matt Turner?
no, believe it or not. Yeah, Matt Turner. Um, yeah. So it like you said, it was 1-1. After that, Sam, Tottenham really are like, okay, let's get this going here. They
Yeah, it
make the double
seems.
sub at half.
Yeah,
Van de Ven with a banger of a goal.
yeah, that was pretty nuts.
Tottenham with the best shooting center backs in the league, Van de Ven and Romero.
Yes, exactly. That's why you got to push them so far up so they can get
Yeah,
those
big
shots.
props.
And then 5 minutes
Well, hey,
later,
I mean, they could be playing at Man City because Pep loves his center backs who could shoot.
yeah, another defender scoring for Tottenham, Pedro Porro,
Yeah,
getting on the end of a ball, flicked on by Bentancur's header. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Son had a shot saved onto the post, but Force were pretty much
It was
out of it
over.
at that point. So,
It was over at that point.
all right, let's get into
Yeah,
some fixtures.
let's do it. Let's do it to it. Newcastle, Tottenham, 2 teams in form, kind of clicking right now. What are you watching for in this one, Sam? As Newcastle pushes for Europe and Tottenham really try to tighten that grip on the top 4 spot.
Yeah, we'll see Newcastle if they could play on the counter against Tottenham. How much possession that Tottenham gets?
Uh,
Feel like
I
it'll
think
probably
it's
be like a 2-1 Tottenham.
I think it's going to be an open game. I was going to go 2-2, but if
Okay.
I had to pick a team to win, I would definitely lean towards Tottenham. But 2-2, I could easily see Tottenham just smashing Newcastle though, just because Newcastle's defense is so slow, so freaking slow. It could easily be 4-1 Tottenham in this one, but I'll hold some faith for Newcastle. Say they grind it out 2-2. Brentford Sheffield. This game's illegal in like 10 countries.
Yes. Well, hopefully Brentford decide that they want to play.
Well, I mean, why do you care? Why is it hopefully that Brentford?
For our eyes. That's why.
Well, what if Ben Burton Diaz is on like 3 breakaways? Is that not? You don't hope for that?
It could be 3-3. I don't care.
Let's cheer for some offense because it's going to be limited in this one. Sheffield's first win was against Brentford. They're trying to do the double. Anything you're looking at in this one? Does Ivan Toney start?
I don't think so.
Okay, they go Wisa. Little
Wisa and
Mbumo
Buma.
action. I think it's going to be Brentford in possession, grinding it out, and then Sheffield's going to collapse for like 2 seconds. I'll go Brentford 1-0, but I don't love anything about this game. I will tell you that much.
I'm gonna say 2-2. Burnley
Wow, you think it does show up?
versus Brighton. This is another game that'll probably not be very good, depending if Brighton
I
actually
want to
can
go
work out.
0-0, but I don't think either team can keep a clean sheet.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
Brighton win and De Zerbi like rips his whole suit off and does like a knee slide in the
Yeah.
corner because
1-0 late winner.
he has so much passion.
Yeah. So 1-0 Brighton.
I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw. Man City, Luton. Man City, you're not ready. You're not ready for Luton to come back on you.
The Luton show. I don't know. I think
Uh,
it'll be 4-0.
I don't know about 4-0.
All embrace.
I'll go 3-0. But yeah, I think City's gonna have like the only way that they'll score is just from counterattacks in midfield. That's gonna be every goal, and it's gonna be like 3-0 inside 20, and then they're just gonna coast. Forest and Wolves, Sam.
Oh. Forest and Wolves.
Got anything that moves you in this one?
Well, hopefully Wolves have some players to play. If not, then maybe not.
Cunha should be out there for the
Yeah.
attack, but who can get him the ball? We don't know. Looks like Aitnor might not play. We don't know.
I'm thinking like a 1-1.
You know I love Gaz and I love Wolves. Sam, can I shock you?
Yes.
Nottingham Forest. 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, I think this is just one where they get it. And also, it struck me about this with Wolves when I was watching last week, even though they were winning and it kind of fell apart. Remember last year when Bournemouth, like, they were easily going to stay up and they're like 12th with Gaz, and then they just totally took their foot off the pedal for the last like 5 weeks?
Yes.
I feel like maybe that's a thing that Gary O'Neill's teams will do. I mean, albeit Wolves, a lot of injury issues. I'll
Mhm.
give them that. But at the same time, you know, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
that his team might just be
Okay.
easing up.
2-0. Bournemouth versus Manchester United. This feels like a game that United would lose after drawing Liverpool.
Does it?
Maybe draw. Maybe a 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw against Crystal Palace?
No, Bournemouth versus Man U.
Oh, I'm so stupid. I was looking at the wrong game.
Liverpool plays Crystal
That's
Palace.
just that's why I was thrown off. Oh, I don't know. I feel like it's one where Bournemouth should score a bunch and then they don't. I have no clue.
Liverpool Junior.
Liverpool Junior. Yeah, maybe. Let's go. It really doesn't have to take this long. We'll go 2-1 United, and it walks away feeling like Bournemouth should win.
Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. Liverpool coming off a big defeat today against Atalanta 3-0. Do they bounce back or do they flounder?
Bounce back.
Yeah, I say they probably bounce back with like a 2-0.
Yeah, I'll go 3-1.
3-1. West Ham versus Fulham. This one feels a little hard to call. Fulham, not very good on the road, but West Ham, I don't know. They don't convince me, but maybe that's West Ham at their best.
I mean, when they're unconvincing in terms of just allowing shots, that's kind of where I feel it's like a crazy person, you know. You feel good when they're acting like that. If they acted sane, you'd be like, "What?"
Yeah.
So, let me tell you something. Fulham, they've been kind of stinky. It'll be I'll just go 1-1. I don't feel great
I'm going
about
to say 0-0.
either of these teams.
Big one. Arsenal versus Aston Villa at the Emirates.
I'm thinking 3-0. Good meal.
3-0. Wow. I think
No.
Aston Villa will be up for this.
I think they will, but I don't think they have Arsenal's quality. I'm gonna go with a 2-0 victory for Arsenal. 2-0.
I'm going to say 3-2. Oh, and round it out. The Battle of the Blues. Winner gets to stay blue. Chelsea versus Everton.
First off, Everton getting points deduction and then having to play Chelsea. There's clearly an agenda against Chelsea. What is this about? They're gonna come out motivated. Remember last time they got a points deduction, Sam? Heavily motivated.
Yes. The
Now
5-point
Chelsea
draw.
have to deal with them. This is Well, no, that was when they got their points back.
Yeah.
The points deduction. They came out and played a couple good games right after that 10-pointer. I mean, you can't predict these games, so I'll just go 2-2.
2-2. I'm going to say 1-0 Chelsea.
Chelsea keeps a clean sheet. Sam, they haven't
They're
had
great.
Sam.
They are great.
They've conceded at least 2 goals in their last 7 games.
All right, and that's the Premiership Perusal podcast.
You say that, and I have a tornado siren going off.
Yeah, I do too. What's
backyard.
going on?
Some testing,
Testing.
even though it's not a Wednesday.
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't know. I guess first Thursday of the month, even though it's not the first Thursday. Maybe there's a tornado. It's sunny out, and you got a tornado out. It's the Everton tornado, and they're coming for
Yeah, Sean Dyche is
Chelsea
coming
fans.
for us.
You, and everyone at the Premiership Perusal, because we're all Chelsea fans. All right, Sam, what's your prediction for the week?
My prediction is that Semenyo scores against Man U.
I didn't expect that. I didn't expect you to go with that game. I didn't expect that game. The other ones I could kind of, you've been on a little Chris Wood run for a while.
Chris Wood.
Yeah.
He loves a goal against Wolves.
First off, let's be quite frank. This has been your best week-to-week prediction year ever. And I don't think it's close. You've hit on it feels like a quarter of the predictions. And lately you've been
That's
on
pretty good percentage.
4 out of 5. Yeah, it's an amazing percentage to say who's going to score. It could be like anyone. There's like a 0.002% chance of you calling it right. And you've been killing it lately. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that you would have called it from that game. That's all. That's all that threw me off about it.
Yeah.
I suppose. I thought you would have given me a Burnley Brighton prediction. That's all I thought.
My prediction, that game's gonna be shit. There you go.
He's cooking again. All right. That wraps it up for this episode of the Premiership Perusal podcast. Join us next week where we lose our sanity.
If we haven't already.
Yes, I think we have. Adios.
The ringing's only in our heads.
Mis amigos.
See ya.